Saint-Maximin's been absolutely outstanding in this game. Plays it across to Kone. That is a sensational ball to the man who's on terrific form. Can he find the goal? Oh my word. I'm going to try and put a ball into the box. It's a good ball. Brennan Johnson. Fantastic save from the goalkeeper. Welcome back to a brand new episode of this Newcastle United career mode, and it is hot off the heels of an episode that saw us sprint to the top of our Europa League group. 3 games played, 9 points won, and we absolutely smashed Portuguese minnows Maritimo en route. A 4-goal drumming for them puts us in a really strong position to get ourselves into the next round. However, the same cannot be said for our Premier League standing. In spite of a few decent results, including an absolute drumming of West Brom 2 games into the season, as well as getting a decent draw against Liverpool and Spurs, we're actually finding ourselves in 6th place in the league, unbeaten, but having drawn 5 games. However, the positive is we only sit 2 points behind league leaders Manchester United with what is the tightest Premier League season in a career mode I think I have ever seen. 4 points separating the top 10. Unbelievable stuff. Now we're going to start this episode off by looking at our youth scouting network, and I realised in season 1 I kind of neglected this a little bit, so I want to put a little bit more emphasis on this heading into an important part of season 2. As you will see, I'm focusing obviously on England and setting up a physically strong scouting network across 6 months in England. However, that does leave me with 2 spare slots, and these slots I want to ask you. Who do you think, and what countries do you think I should prioritise and look for young players for? And what type of young players should I be looking for? Should I be looking for physically strong, technically gifted, attacking, defending? Let me know down in the comments below where you think I should be scouting, what type of player you want me to look for, and I'll be sure to check that one out. For now though, it's back to focusing on the football, and as you can see, we have a jam-packed episode stacked full of different League and Europa League games to come. So sit back, enjoy, and let's get down to business. And we're starting off with a triple header of simmed games. First and foremost, it's a home game against Brighton that we managed to get a 2-1 win for. Pobega and Saint-Maximin both getting on the score sheet. However, we follow that up with a 2-0 loss against Aston Villa, and looking at the player ratings, it looked like a game they absolutely dominated, and we had absolutely no chance of scoring in. And in spite of beating them 4-0 in an earlier fixture last episode, we end up drawing 2-2 at home to Maritimo in the Europa League. Goals from Elise and Jolinton not enough as they managed to get a point against us, and we've got to say that is 2 points dropped. And the frustration continues as that man Fabian Schär has now picked up a 4-month collateral ligament injury, and that is going to keep him out for the foreseeable future. However, things are about to step up here as we are about to welcome Manchester United to St James's Park. A Manchester United team that we were fighting for Champions League football with last season are now flying high at the top end of the table, while we are struggling to try and see if we can at least even get into Europa League football this year. So, looking at the starting 11, I have returned to my usual starting 11. It's the normal back 4, Trippier, Tomori, Botman, Target, Pobega, Guimaraes and Enzo Fernandez in midfield. Brennan Johnson, Alexander Isak and Alain Saint-Maximin start up front. This is a game that, whilst there is a big gap between the two clubs on the Premier League table, there is literally 3 points separating us, even though there's about 6 or 7 places separating us. So a win here will put us in a really good position to shoot up the Premier League table. Timber to take for United. Cuadrado now gets challenged by Saint-Maximin, who ends up finding himself going all the way back, but lays a nice ball into the path of Enzo Fernandez. He tries to find Bruno Guimaraes, and Bruno Guimaraes somehow escapes, drives into the box, strikes. Oh my word, it's 1-0 here. Out of absolutely nothing. I didn't even plan to play the ball to Guimaraes. I was actually trying to play it across to Pobega, who was hopefully going to slot it into the path of Alexander Isak, but Bruno Guimaraes was having none of it. Took it on himself, drove past 2 United players, absolutely drove into the box and smashed it past the goalkeeper, gave him no chance whatsoever. And we take the lead here at St James's Park. It's 1-0. Martial into Ronaldo, nicely laid back. Casemiro lays it back out wide to Martial. Nice stuff from United. Martial going to try and use his pace to get past Tomori. Can Tomori hold firm here? Martial looking for an option, ends up going back to Malacia. Nice ball into the box. McTominay challenged really nicely by Sven Botman. And now Bruno Guimaraes, the goal scorer, can try and escape. Can I lay a nice ball out wide? It's a good ball. Can we get on the end of it? It's well read by the right back. McTominay goes in field for Bruno Fernandes now. Bruno Fernandes brings it forward, lays a lovely ball off to Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo turns to Sven Botman, gets caught up by Bruno Fernandes, and it's a nice turn. Martial still in, tries to loop it over the goalkeeper. Great save from Nick Pope, and it's hacked away from Botman. Trippier's got Brennan Johnson ahead of him down this right-hand side, and he finds him really nicely. Brennan Johnson has got so much pace, drives into the box looking for an option. It's a great option. Oh, my word. Enzo Fernandez so close to getting on the end of it, but it was brilliant United defending. Trippier into Brennan Johnson now, who's come deep to try and collect this one. I'm going to try and go back over the top to Kieran Trippier, and it's a good ball to him. Trippier, though, he has actually got the pace to try and drive down the right-hand side. I thought he wasn't going to have it. Good ball in. Saint-Maximin with the head. It's a diving head, and he gives us a 2-goal lead here. Unbelievable stuff. Fantastic interchanging play between Brennan Johnson and Kieran Trippier down that right-hand side. Kieran Trippier had the pace to get away from Bruno Fernandes, floated a beautiful ball into the 6-yard box, and Saint-Maximin was on hand to diving head it into the back of the net. Gave the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Look at that for a diving header. Fantastic stuff. And we lead 2-0. Took a bit of a heavy touch though. Ends up giving it away, and it's Ronaldo now picks it up. Goes back to Timber. Now it's Martial. Goes back to the centre-back again. United playing it around nicely, but they've lost a little bit of momentum with this attack. And it's Bruno Guimaraes with a nice challenge. Can we now try and strike a counter-attack? It's Enzo Fernandez, and it's really poor from him. Enzo Fernandez is a really tricky one. He had a really good start to the first half of Season 1, but since then, he's been pretty quiet. He hasn't really managed to get himself on the score sheet, not really been able to get too many assists either, and maybe, depending on how well Kone is starting to play in this team, he might end up finding himself being replaced. But it is that man, Enzo Fernandez, who picks the ball up again, and he goes out wide and gives the ball away again. Exactly what I'm talking about. Bruno Guimaraes now tries to float a ball out wide to the left-hand side to Saint-Maximin. It's a wonderful ball. Saint-Maximin with a ball in. It's Brennan Johnson on the left. Tried to get on the end of it, but it was a good head away from the United defence. Casemiro now gives it back to McTominay. It's Guimaraes trying to get a challenge in, and he does. It's Alexander Isak. Nicely gets away from the defender, and in the end, it's a very good block. Bruno Fernandes now in the midfield for United. United have got just over 20 minutes to try and see if they can get some sort of goal here to try and get themselves back into the game. It's Diaby to McTominay, into Ronaldo. Nicely done. Good save from the goalkeeper. Fernandes with the corner. Going to try and put this into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed away by the substitute Ryan Sessegnon. Timber, though, lays it back out wide to Bruno Fernandes. Somehow he's managed to stay on side. Ronaldo, oh my word, blazes it over the crossbar. Sven Botman now goes out wide to Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan Sessegnon's going to Saint-Maximin in the middle. Saint-Maximin's in here. Can I find a ball across to Alexander Isak? It's played behind him. Oh, we've got to do better in those situations. That is a massive let-off for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes now for United. Nice turn to get away from Bruno Guimaraes, but it's Tomori who picks that one up really nicely and lays a nice ball into Kone. Kone now goes out wide to the left-hand side to Saint-Maximin. Saint-Maximin's been absolutely outstanding in this game. Plays it across to Kone. Smashes it against the defender. He was so desperately looking for his first Newcastle goal. And in the end, De Gea saves well from Saint-Maximin. Going to be the substitute Livramento with the resulting corner. Whips a good ball in. Just can't get on the end of it. It's Elise now who's going to pick this one up. Livramento with a second bite of the cherry. Whips a much better ball into the box. It's headed away once again, though, from the United defenders. Ronaldo picks it up. The referee blows the whistle. Game over here at St James's Park. Absolutely fantastic from start to finish. What a brilliant game. We needed a win. We got a win. It's 2-0 here at St James's Park. Saint-Maximin was absolutely outstanding, as was my midfield. We get the job done. It's 3 points in the bag. And that win has brought us back up into a Europa League place, 5th in the Premier League table, now only 3 points behind top spot. But unbelievably, United at the start of this episode were top of the table. Now they've fallen all the way down to 8th. Unbelievable. Now there is literally 5 points, only 5 points in spite of 11 games played, separating the top 10. This is, as I said at the start, without doubt the most competitive season I think I've ever played on a career mode. I cannot believe United have gone all the way from 1st to 8th in the space of 3 games. Unbelievable. But it goes to show absolutely every win counts, and it's a win we are not able to get here at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest. It's a 1-1 draw courtesy of goals from Alexander Isak and Ojeda for Nottingham Forest. Really disappointing result against the Nottingham Forest team, who are actually bottom of the Premier League table. And where on earth is that going to leave us? Before we find out about that, though, we've got the small matter of a Europa League tie away at FC Twente. You will see from the table, we sit top of the table with 10 points after 4 games. This is a massive clash against the team that are second. If we win this one, not only do we get through to the next round, but we also confirm our spot at the top of the table as well. This is an FC Twente team, though, that will be desperate to avenge the loss they suffered at our hands at the start of this Europa League campaign, though. As for us, though, it is all change. We've got Dubravka in goal, Target, Slotterbeck, Tamori and Livramento at the back. Willock, Joelinton and Fernandes in midfield, Almiron, Jonathan David and Elise up front. 29 minutes in though, and we now have our first counter-attacking opportunity of the game, and it is an Enzo Fernandez who picks up the ball. And Enzo Fernandez, who's under fire from me a little bit at the moment, but he's delivered a fantastic ball all the way out to Almiron. I'm waiting for the cutback. It's there. It's into the back of the net. It's Jonathan David with the goal. It's 1-0 here. I was just waiting for the right pass, waiting to cut it back to him. In the end, he managed to dive back, and he slots it home to give us a 1-0 lead. And 37 minutes in, I don't know what's caused it, but we now have a penalty, and this is going to be our very first penalty of the season. And if I'm not correct, this may well be the first penalty that we've actually had in this career mode with Newcastle. We go down the middle, Jonathan David makes it look easy, it's 2-0. And fast forward 5 minutes, and we've got another one. What on earth is going on today? FC Twente having an absolute mare. This time, instead of going down the middle, I'm going to try and go to the top right corner. And it's a, whoa my word, fantastic save. It's Cherney on the right-hand side now for FC Twente for the first real attack of the game. He does well to get past the left back, cuts inside, great stuff from him. Slotterbeck tries to put a challenge in, and in the end, it's headed clear. We've got to wait to the 82nd minute now for our next attack of the game, and it's the substitute, Brennan Johnson, who's picked it up. Going to just lay this into the path of Almiron, surely for 3. Great save. But that was the last attack of the game. It finishes here 2-0. We seal a victory and we seal our place in the next round of the Europa League. We topped the group. It was pretty simple in the end. To be fair, it could have and perhaps should have been 4-0. Brilliant game, fantastic result. That man Jonathan David getting on the score sheet twice. It's 3 points in the bag again. And we have taken that positive momentum and brought it back to the Premier League. A brilliant 3-1 home win against Wolves. Enzo Fernandez getting on the score sheet twice. He has taken that criticism I have given him and he has rebounded fantastically. 2 wonderful goals from him with a St. Maximin goal sandwiched in between. It's another 3 points in the bag and we continue our march towards European football. However, this is the problem I have with making improvements to my squad. My existing players who are now not playing as frequently as perhaps they would like have started knocking on my door. Matt Target, to be more precise, knocking on my door asking why I left him out and left him on the bench for the game against Wolves. As I normally do with the rest of my players, I'm going to keep him sweet and hope that sends him away a happy man, but I'm fully expecting more of my players as the season goes on to continue to start knocking on my door. Back-to-back wins in the Premier League it is though, courtesy of 2 goals from Jonathan David, giving us a 2-1 win away at Fulham. So unlucky though not to get the hat-trick, missing a penalty in the 33rd minute. He will be absolutely devastated, but for us, again, it's another 3 points in the bag, and we continue the positive momentum in this episode. Before we continue with any other games, though, this episode, I just want to take a quick look over at our player stats so far this season, and to be honest, I had no idea Jonathan David was playing this well. 11 goals in 10 appearances with 1 assist, 6 of those goals coming in 7 Premier League games, 5 in the Europa League. He has been absolutely outstanding since he's come in January of last season, and he's now, of course, gone up by 2 points in his overall rating to now go up to 83 as well. So absolutely taking the shine away from this man, Alexander Isak, who's now actually only scored 2 goals in 9 Premier League games. So he was our top goal scorer last season, but he's really struggling with the competition of this man, Jonathan David. So Alexander Isak is normally my starting striker. I may have to start rethinking things based on the form that this man is on. But second place in terms of the goal scoring charts, Alain St. Maximin, 10 goals in 13 Premier League games. He has been on absolute fire in both the games I've simulated and in the games I'm playing. So fantastic from him after a pretty cool, calm season in the first season of this career mode. Pobega has chipped in with 2. Enzo Fernandez, who I've criticised a fair amount in this episode, he's chipped in with 2. Brennan Johnson with 2 goals and 4 assists in 13 appearances, with Elise also chipping in with 2 goals and 2 assists. Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton, Slotterbeck, Almiron, Joe Willock as well, rounding off the final goal scoring charts with 1 goal apiece for them. But in terms of the assists, our highest assist maker sits with Bruno Guimaraes. I'm actually playing him in more of a central defensive midfield position, but somehow he still managed to chip in with 4 assists, with Brennan Johnson coming in second place with 3. Trippier, St. Maximin, the man of the hour, with 3, and Joelinton surprisingly also picking up 3. One of those coming in the Europa League. And, 2 of those actually coming in the Europa League, with one coming in his only Premier League appearance so far this season. So it's been a pretty mixed bag in terms of performances so far this season. 2 men who have been absolutely outstanding though. Jonathan David and Alain Saint-Maximin have completely dominated these charts at the moment. As for the rest of my players, well, if they want to try and keep up with these 2, they really need to step up. However, it is going to be particularly tricky to try and step up here as we welcome Manchester City to St James's Park. Manchester City, a team notoriously that we have struggled against so far in this career mode, and to be fair, a team that I seem to struggle against every single time I play them, no matter what team I am, whether I'm Leeds, I'm PSG, whether I'm Newcastle, or even Spurs in FIFA 22, I always seem to struggle against Manchester City. However, with this starting lineup, I am hoping I'm going to be able to finally put things right today. Trippier, Tomori, Botman and Ryan Sessegnon at the back. Usual midfield 3, Pobega, Guimaraes and Enzo Fernandez. Brennan Johnson, Saint-Maximin, and that man, Jonathan David, taking the place of Alexander Isak up front. And it's 11 minutes in, and we've got our first counter-attacking opportunity of the game, and it is Enzo Fernandez who's going to pick this one up. And it looks like Brennan Johnson has got acres of space on the right-hand side. Yes, he does. Brennan Johnson driving into space. If I can find the pass across, oh, Laporte blocks. 26 minutes in, though, and we've got the opportunity to try and make amends here. It looks like, I think it's Saint-Maximin who's free on the left-hand side. That is a sensational ball to the man who's on terrific form. Can he find the goal? Oh, my word. Man City have a free kick in a very dangerous position here. Are they going to go short? Yes, they are. It's a strange decision. It's De Bruyne who picks it up, though. No one putting in a challenge on him. The player switching is horrendous. De Bruyne goes into the box. What a last-ditch challenge from Ryan Sessegnon. Fast forward only a few minutes, though, and now they've got another opportunity. This time it's Kevin De Bruyne who's going to try and find a pass, and that is a sensational pass into Haaland. Gives it away. The referee blows the whistle. It finishes here 0-0. What an unbelievable end-to-end game. Both teams having unbelievable chances to score. I cannot believe when I was 3-on-1 in the first highlight of the game, I ended up giving the ball away. It's absolutely horrendous. It finishes here 0-0. And I am absolutely gutted. And this is what I'm talking about. Saint-Maximin is now knocking at my door, demanding to know why he was subbed off. He sounds like he's absolutely furious. Now, in my defence, I did play the highlights of that game against Manchester City, so I didn't actually make the substitution. But for now, once again, I'm going to keep him sweet. I have to keep him sweet. He's the man on form at the moment. He's the main man for us. And hopefully, he doesn't come knocking on my door anymore. It's a pretty simple win to round off our final Europa League game in the group stage, and it is a 2-0 win at home to Steaua Bucharest. Alexander Isak taking on board some of the criticism I gave him earlier on, scoring in the second minute, with Manu Kone finally getting a goal, his first Newcastle goal for the club in the 74th minute. Brilliant, brilliant for him. I am absolutely delighted. And that win, along with 4 other wins and 1 draw, end up putting us top of our Europa League group, 16 points, and ending up 9 points clear of a second place FC Twente, who finished the group in second place. We will both progress to the group to the knockout stages, I should say, and you'll have to wait to the next episode to find out who we're going to draw. For now, though, it's on to the very last game of this episode, and the tough and tricky games just keep on coming as we now welcome Arsenal to St James's Park. This is an Arsenal team, however, though, that aren't really performing to the levels that would be expected of them this season. The last time I checked the table, they were actually in 9th place, so I'm hoping we can try and see if we can get a positive result here. And as you can see, it's 4-3-3, the usual back line. It is, of course, the usual midfield 3, and up front, Brennan Johnson, Jonathan David, and of course, Alain Saint-Maximin. And as we kick off this game against Arsenal, once again, I do have to apologise. I forgot to check the kits, and I kind of stupidly just assumed FIFA would default Arsenal to their home red kit, because there isn't really a clash of between the two teams. But annoyingly, they've defaulted Arsenal to this black kit, and it means it might make things a little bit interesting today. And Pobega is looking to make things a little bit interesting here as he picks the ball up on the edge of the penalty area, picks it up again. It's a bit of a scramble in the end, and Arsenal just about managed to get it clear with Zinchenko. Ndidi for Arsenal, into Williams now, turns really nicely away from Tomori, picks it up again though. It's Sven Botman trying to tussle with him. Good pass into Marquinhos now, into Odegaard. Odegaard trying to get past Tomori. Great defending from him. He now lays a ball down the line to Kieran Trippier. I'm going to try and find Brennan Johnson. I do find Brennan Johnson. Can he keep the ball in play? Yes, he can. He's got the pace to accelerate away. Can he find a ball into the box? He does. And Saint-Maximin just can't get on the end of it. Bruno Guimaraes can to strike with his left. Good save from the goalkeeper. Sessegnon with the throw. Gives it to Enzo Fernandez. He finds Bruno Guimaraes. Shifts it onto his right. Goes for a strike again. And he forces the keeper into his second stop of the game. Kieran Trippier with the resulting corner. Whips it in short. It's not the best corner. And Enzo Fernandez picks it up into Sven Botman. Sven Botman strikes with his left. Ends up getting rebounded off the defender. And St. Maximin will pick this one up. I'm going to try and put a ball into the box. It's a good ball. Brennan Johnson. Fantastic save from the goalkeeper. Kieran Trippier with another corner here. We have started this half off fantastically. Arsenal acrobatically clear it away. They are all over the shop at the moment defensively. We are hammering on the door, but we can't seem to find an opening yet. But it's St. Maximin now to try and find it here. Brennan Johnson, lovely turn from him. Oh my word, this keeper is on absolute fire. Trippier with another corner. It's a brilliant corner. It's headed away, though, by the Arsenal defender. Enzo Fernandez back out to Trippier, this time with his left. It's blocked again by Arsenal. They head it away, and somehow this game still remains 1-0. Bruno Guimaraes, though, into Pobega. Pobega into Jonathan David. Turns, shifts onto his left, strikes, and it's deflected past the goalkeeper. We finally managed to get it past him. It's Jonathan David, the man of the hour, who's in absolute tip-top form. Fantastic goal from him, and he adds to his already brilliant tally so far this season. The crowd go crazy. It is a deserved goal. Fantastic play so far in this half. Lovely turn away from the goalkeeper. It deflected off of him, and the keeper left with no chance. It's 1-0 here, and it's a much deserved 1-0 lead. And Didi into Odegaard. Odegaard chased down and challenged very, very nicely by Pobega. Jonathan David, though, is pretty much isolated up front, but gives it to Pobega. Pobega now trying to find Jonathan David again. Jonathan David to add to his tally. It's a brilliant finish, and Jonathan David, in the space of 5 minutes, adds a second here. We have completely ripped Arsenal apart defensively. They are all over the shop, and I'm now starting to understand why they sit so low in the table in comparison to where they should be expected to be. The crowd have gone wild again. It's another piece of brilliant play. Pobega with a lovely ball. I thought the chance was lost, but Jonathan David made no mistake from that angle. Absolutely lashed it past the goalkeeper. A goalkeeper who's been absolutely outstanding so far in this game, but there was nothing he could do about that. Eddie Howe celebrates 2-0. Pobega under a bit of pressure from the Arsenal midfield, but manages to wriggle away nicely from it. Sven Botman now into Enzo Fernandez. Gives it back to Pobega. I'm going to try and look for Brennan Johnson on the right-hand side. Great ball. Brennan Johnson across the floor. It's a good defensive block from Arsenal, but we pick it up again. Enzo Fernandez gets blocked off by Ndidi. Good defensive clearing from him. And Odegaard now can try and sprint away, and instead gives the ball straight back to Tomori. Trippier goes in field for Bruno Guimaraes. Enzo Fernandez now going to look up the field for Jonathan David, who's made a lovely run into the box. He's now looking for his hat-trick. Goes for the finesse. It's blocked by the defender. Can we pick this one up? Brennan Johnson manages to get on the end of it. Going to try and see if he can switch it back in. He does brilliantly. It's headed away really nicely. Can we get on the end of it? No, we cannot. Sven Botman. Pobega. We have started this second half exactly as we left and pretty much played the entire of the first half. We are on absolute fire here. Brennan Johnson into Jonathan David across the box. And the goalkeeper has had an absolute mare. He was absolutely fantastic in the first 35 minutes of this game, but that was horrendous. Enzo Fernandez allowed to just run behind the back of him. The ball just allowed to just run across the front of him, and it's an easy tap-in for Enzo Fernandez. Arsenal completely ripped apart here. It's 3-0. Trippier goes down the line to Brennan Johnson now. Brennan Johnson going to try and look down the line again to Jonathan David, who is picking up wonderful pockets of space. Jonathan David across the box. Tomiyasu is this time in the right place at the right time as Arsenal now try and escape. Odegaard for Arsenal, though. Odegaard doing really nicely to evade the pressure from Tomori as he continues his run into the box. It's brilliant play from him. Lays it back off. Nick Pope forced into his first stop of the game. Emile Smith-Rowe with the resulting corner. It's Odegaard now trying the tricks. Ends up getting blocked off by Enzo Fernandez, but it's Emile Smith-Rowe now picks it up again. Lays it in field to Ndidi. He strikes from distance. And oh my word, Nick Pope forced into a pretty difficult stop in the end. Arsenal going to look to go short with this corner. They don't actually go short. It's a bit of a decoy into the box, and it's headed away very nicely by Pobega. Acrobatic volley back to Emile Smith-Rowe, though. Ndidi goes for the strike again. It's off the substitute. Slotterbeck tries to head it out, but Ndidi picks it up again. It's Williams now. Blocked off by Botman strikes. Nick Pope forced into a good save. This is a very good response for Arsenal. Gabby Jesus with the resulting corner. Gives it to Fabio Vieira now. He tries to go past Enzo Fernandez. blocked off by Pobega really nicely. Elise tries to get on the end of it, but Zinchenko's there first. It's Gabby Jesus now to drive into the penalty area. Oh, that's wonderful. It's off the post. Goes to the substitute Kone. He goes out wide to the left-hand side to the substitute Elise. He's going to try and shift it onto his left. Goes for the finesse. Another big save from Turner. And the referee blows the whistle. It finishes here 3-0 to Newcastle against Arsenal. It was a phenomenal performance from everyone involved. Arsenal having a pretty decent spell with the last 15 minutes, but overall the job was done. Enzo Fernandez and Kieran Trippier celebrate. We have been absolutely fantastic today. That man, Jonathan David, 2 goals, 1 assist, absolutely sensational performance from him. The crowd are absolutely delighted. We send them home happy. 3-0 at full time. And that result keeps us in 5th place in the Premier League, but only leaves us 1 point behind a Spurs team in 3rd and a Liverpool team in the final Champions League spot in 4th. However, the problem is we are level on points with Chelsea and Aston Villa in 6th and 7th. Such is the closeness of this season. What an unbelievably close season it is. In spite of us being 5th, we're only 3 points behind Manchester United, who now find themselves in top again. They went from top at the start of the episode all the way down to 8th, and now they've gone all the way back up to top. Unbelievable scenes here. What a fantastic episode. What a way to end what has been a fantastic episode. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you again next time.